Becoming unapologetically confident.
So my story is pretty simple. I'm not a motivational speaker. I'm not a coach. I'm just a person. I'm a mother. I'm a wife who have lived and have experienced some things I'm here to share with you. And I can see my husband even forgot some of my name. That's how it is when you've been married for 18 years. So 12 years ago, I got diagnosed with cancer. At that point, I was not too worried. It was thyroid cancer. Everybody told me it's lucky cancer. That's a really, really bad thing to say to anybody who got cancer, by the way. But so I was like, okay, I can get surgery and I will be good again. Then 11 years ago, I found out it was incurable. I belong to the 3% in the world who have become immune to this type of cancer. That means I will need to have treatments and surgeries for the rest of my life. So I admit, when I was told that, I spiraled and I became very, very self-pity. Already at that time, I didn't live the most healthy, so I basically just went to bed. And I was like, okay, I cannot even realizing the idea to have to deal with surgeries and treatments for the rest of my life. On top of that, I had 2 children, so I had a long career break. And I can tell you that nobody wants to hire a woman who have had a career break and now also have an incurable illness. I was redundant, I was disposable, and I was just there. So I remember before I turned 40, I told my husband, there's literally no purpose for somebody like me anymore. There is no reason for me to stay up anymore. So I stayed in bed. And I was there for weeks, just hoping that my heart would stop. And that was it. So, but I had 2 children. At that time, my kids, I don't think they understood exactly what was going on. They were very small. But they realized that their mom was not well. So they came into bed with me. They crawled into bed. Or with the iPads. I never know if I have to explain anything with the iPad, but obviously they came in with the iPads. And then they were just lying there next to me, watching something and holding my hand. And I realized that if I should go out, then at least I should fight for them as much as I possibly could, because I wouldn't leave them behind. It was not just like I woke up and then suddenly I became a super person. It was not like that at all. But I did realize at least I should start simple things. I think everybody who've gone through a depression or mental down know that even taking a shower, even to do the most basic thing, is hard. So for me, the first accomplishment was doing these very simple things to come back to my life and try to own what I was. So I started running. Now, when I say running, let me rephrase it. I started jogging. My first jog was 8 minutes. I lived in Malta at that time, which has a very hilly, so it was not a very fast run or long run, but I completed it. Then, as you can see, then my run became a little longer. It became a little bit longer, and I felt like, okay, I can begin to come back. So, yeah. But as you know, with every setback, like every challenge, there will always be setbacks as well, because nothing in life is just a straight line. It's not. I wish I could tell you it is, but it's not. So for me, I overdid my running, lost a ligament in my ankles. I needed ankle surgery. Because I did that, I exhausted my health insurance. So suddenly, my cancer treatment was postponed because of that. So there was a lot of things happening at the same time. After my oncologist in Malta found out that I had resistant thyroid cancer, he also admitted to me that he had only had 2 other patients who have had that in Malta. One who survived and one who died. So I felt my odds was really bad. You can say 50%, but still, I was really, really concerned. So I began to try to look into treatments globally to see if there's anything else I could do. At the same time, as I said, I had the ankle surgeries. I was in crutches for 3 months. I needed to find another way to exercise. So I started swimming. So I was swimming for around 6 months Then I got 28 rounds of radiotherapy on my neck. I got muscle spasm, my whole body, so I couldn't swim anymore. So at that point, it was like some kind of bed yoga-ish. I also lost my voice, which, funny enough, my husband still say is probably the worst thing that ever happened to me. 6 months, I had no voice. I did have one of those nifty apps where I had some pre-recorded messages, but it was very difficult. When you feel you are disposable, when you feel that your life is against you, you cannot get a job, you cannot walk, you cannot talk. So I'll be honest and say, it was very, very hard for me at this point. And on top of this, I think everybody who's been sick also know the financial strain it will do to a family or to a person to be in this situation. Then something happened. I got better, and then I got an opportunity to a friend to work for Entain in London. That was a godsend for us, getting this opportunity. And we decided, okay, let's move to London. The treatment opportunity will be better. Even if our health insurance has been exhausted, we will be able to actually come into the public system in London and get some oncologists here to give me these treatments. So yeah, I clawed my back to my career. Started absolutely as in entry level. And I would like to point out that before my illness, I won Cosmopolitan's Award for Best Female Entrepreneur for one of the biggest publishing platforms that's still existing today. So starting from scratch again was really, really difficult for me. But that's it. Sometimes we just need to suck it up and we need to move forward for it, because ultimately it's about what makes us feel good about ourselves and what we need to do to survive. Entain was very graciously offered me an MBA. I have never, ever done anything academic in my life before. I'm street smart. I always consider myself a grinder, a hustler, whatever. All the words you can say about yourself when you basically just like to take things and try things. But they offered me an MBA, and I was like, at that point, I became a little bit, because I felt a little bit better myself. I had, at this point, obviously still survived cancer. So I was like, let's go for it. Also, at this point, I've had in total 6 surgeries in the upper body and 2 in ankle, 28 rounds of radiation, 2 hormone treatment, 3 gamma knife. So I was absolutely super fun and hormonal to be around. So that's. But yeah, I got the opportunity to do an MBA. This was just in the beginning of the lockdown. You probably remember that. So everything was done online. And I remember when I took the classes, and I came in and everybody spoke perfect British, like the gentleman that was just here before. Perfect British, and I was sitting there with my broken Danish English, and I just felt I didn't belong. I didn't fit into this very academic world. I didn't understand how. I had to sit and Google everything they were saying. So this third module, I failed. And I was like, okay, this is not for me. I tried it on. It didn't work. It's not meant for me to be an MBA person. And my academic mentor, Steve, who have never ever shared anything personal with me, I called me up, and he said to me, very serious and very British, and he said, "Don't give up, Line." And then he said one thing that really changed a lot in me. He said, "I think a lot of the people that is doing this class, they do it for the wrong reasons. They do it just because they want those 3 letters next to the name. I genuinely believe you do it because you want to be a better leader." And he said to me, "The world needs more Line Peteris." And I was like, Steve, like he'd never ever shown any, like even I didn't even think he liked me. And I decided, okay, I'm going to suck it up. I do the last module again. So obviously I did it a little bit later than my fellow students. But I passed it, and I finished my MBA. And the reason I'm sharing the failure is because I believe failures are data points that makes us all better. Because by not giving up, I've wired my mind to believe that I can complete everything I set myself up for. But that's the thing. We live in a world where we all try to be so perfect. Social media, when we meet each other to these conferences, everybody wants to be, perfect. We don't come and show our vulnerability because we are professionals, we are this and that. And I noticed to some of the events yesterday, people were just standing by themselves, and nobody really liked to be the one because. And I always think this is a shame. We're all here to network, so to stand there and actually feel uncomfortable about reaching out to each other. But this is the thing. Even if you come up to somebody and say something that's the most stupid thing they've ever heard, it's not like they're going to sit for 5 years after and say, do you remember SiGMA Dubai? There was this guy coming up to me and then he said something really stupid. Oh my God, ha ha ha. Sorry. You will be forgotten again tomorrow. And then probably if you are really saying, maybe you can try again next year, and you have forgotten. So that's the thing about confidence, isn't it? We are so self-aware in the moment. So we are so afraid of doing, failures. But the thing is, all failures, even rejection for somebody at a conference, would be a data point that we can use to be better next time. So that's the thing. I didn't set out to become a high performer. I didn't set out to become confident. I just set out to survive cancer and become a better mother for my children, a better wife for my husband, and then earn enough money so my husband don't have to be stressed all the time. That was it. That was the baseline. But then, weirdly enough, in this journey, I found myself to become a high performer because I realized that everything I put in up here, I can do. So for a couple of years back, I was like, I'm almost 50. I need to find something I can do. So I started doing high rocks races. And I remember I did my first high rocks race, and even like have some younger colleagues that were like, oh, it's like the world's toughest fitness race. I don't think you should do it. So of course I had to try. And I did it in London Olympia. It was May, almost 2 years ago. And I did it absolutely wrong. So instead of running 8 kilometers, what you have to do, and then 8 fitness stations, I did 11 kilometers. But that's the thing. Other people would be like, oh my God, you got a really bad time. Are you not in Paris? In my head, I was like, oh my God, I can do a high rocks with 11 kilometers instead of 8. So what did I do? I signed up for 2 more high rocks the same day, which I did in Milan. And that's the thing. At this point now, every time I give myself a challenge, it doesn't matter if it's academic, it doesn't matter that I did a second master as well. It doesn't matter if it's physical, it doesn't matter if it's work-wise, it doesn't matter if it's engagement-wise. I believe because every time you hack your mind to believe that you can do it, you can do it. Of course, if you can just say, oh, I cannot do it, these people are not going to like me, I'm not going to get the promotion, that client is not going to sign. Yes, you already wired your brain for all the rejections and down that it can possibly have. But I do exactly the opposite. Yesterday, I was standing and talking with one of the influencers, I think he was 24 or something, and he told me, I'm going to run a 100-mile run in Malta. He said, sign me up, let's try it. Maybe it's going to take, I did 100 kilometers in Dubai not a long time ago, so I feel like 100 miles should be the next step. So this is the thing. Maybe it will take 14 hours to do it. I have no idea. Maybe it's going to take, I don't know how long. But this is the thing. By keep pushing myself mentally and physically, I have wired myself to believe everything is possible. That's the thing, discipline. I am a pretty disciplined person. That doesn't mean I don't have fun. It just means that as soon as I have told myself I'm going to do it, I will do it. That also means in this conference I've been up every morning. I ran the poem. I've done obviously lots of gym sessions. But I also still want to go out. So I try to balance my time really well. And this is the next thing. I'm not saying that everybody should do like me, because this is my journey. My journey is not your journey, very, very importantly. But I do always say to people, when you put this commitment on these things into your head, think about it, how that can be accomplished. Because the thing is, I genuinely believe confidence is the base for everything. The way you approach people, the way that you think about yourself. I think one of my favorite TED Talks I ever heard about this was about this girl who had this really nasty friend. Anybody heard that one? No? And that friend, every time the girl had to do anything, that friend would tell him, that dress is, you look terrible in that. You're never going to get that job. Those people are never going to like you. Oh, I think these people are laughing at you when you pass them. All her fears. And you can see the audience get more and more riled up. Like, why does you keep a friend like this around? And then ultimately, after 10 minutes, you realize that friend is our own inner voice. Because the way we talk to ourselves, for some reason, is worse than we would say talk to anybody else. But then on the other hand, the way we will talk to our friends will be amazing. Of course you look amazing in that. Of course you'll get this job. Of course you'll do. But for some reason, we put ourselves up for failure all the time. And we don't even think about it. It's just our inner voice that keeps telling us. Yeah, I'm mindful about the time, sorry. That's something we're waving now. So mindset is everything. This is the thing. As soon as you remove the M, you have possible. And I really, really believe that. I know the slide's a bit, my husband made it. He wanted to show this whole journey thing. But that's the thing. Everything is possible. And this is one of the reasons I want to do these speaks, because I am not a superhuman. I'm a 48-year-old woman, almost 49. I'm actually 10 centimeters smaller than, I think, women from Denmark. There's nothing super about me. I'm just a normal person. But I'm a normal person who failed and used that failure. I had struggles, I had challenges, and I instead of letting it define me, I use it to be stronger as possible from where I stand. And you can see my husband forgot the H-O in my name. Actually, my name is Ho Young Peteri. That's why you saw a nifty little tiger in the beginning. Ho Young means tiger in Korean. But my husband, to 18 years, forgot my name. Yeah, thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate it. And I hope you could take some of this with you. Cheers.